Blanche announced that the 6 hours of recordings and 329 pages of transcripts were being released today, quote, in the interest of transparency. The obvious question, why on earth would the Deputy Attorney General take a private meeting with a convicted child sex trafficker who his boss, Donald Trump, has ties to, and then, as soon as she tells him what she told him, gets upgraded to a lower security federal prison?
Never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
A gentleman in all respects. That glowing character reference comes from a convicted sex trafficker. How odd is it that the definition of proper, gentlemanly behavior is now being provided by a woman who enabled a global network of abuse? It raises a simple question. What earns that kind of loyalty? And more importantly, what earns a convicted predator a prison upgrade? Is it a reward for a story well told? Or is it a down payment for silence?
At some point, he was getting massages 7 days a week, sometimes multiple massages a day. Women have said that were there, that say they were there giving him massages, said that those included some sort of sexual conduct, however you define that in the broadest sense, not just a traditional massage regularly. So what did you see and hear at the time? Where does that leave you in your mind with what happened?
Okay, so I saw Epstein with women. What I mean by that is he would have women around him. So anytime I saw anybody with him, they were happy to be with him. So I never saw an aggressive move. I never saw anything that was
non-consensual.
Well, thank you. Okay. I never saw anything that was non-consensual.
Did you see him engage in sexual conduct during massages?
Well, you could define sexual conduct as in, I did see women who could have been, less than normally clad for a massage, but especially on the island where they would be in a bikini or possibly even topless. Yeah, I did see that.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it.
The most powerful office on earth discussing a potential pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman convicted of child sex trafficking with Jeffrey Epstein. And that's the story you're supposed to be watching.
The Justice Department wants the High Court to reject her appeal, but Maxwell's attorney said this: we're appealing not only to the Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, and that Maxwell received limited immunity to talk with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche about the Epstein files last week.
So let's look at the pieces they're putting on the board. A direct appeal for a pardon designed to grab headlines. Then whispers of limited immunity and secret talks about the Epstein files. It's all very dramatic, isn't it? It feels like a high-stakes political thriller. But you have to ask yourself, is any of it real? Or is it a carefully constructed performance? A piece of theater designed to make you look in one direction, while the real story, the one they're truly afraid of, sits buried and ignored.
The interesting question here, though, is, Todd Blanche is the one speaking to Ms. Maxwell and her lawyers. What role is he playing right now? Is he the president's former lawyer? Or is he representing the United States of America as a high-ranking official in the Department of Justice?
The question about Todd Blanche's true role is perhaps the most interesting part of this whole affair. Is he there to get to the truth? Or is his presence just another shiny object designed to make us focus on the how of these secret talks, instead of the who on Epstein's list?
And the assessment from the DOJ about her credibility in the past, which is frankly, she's not credible, that you can't trust her to tell the truth. If she had something that she wanted to share, isn't that something that would have come up already?
Whatever she says, I want to corroborate. It comes from her mouth, but I also want to look to the files. Is it saying it now, after not saying it for so long, if at all, really gives me pause and concern as law enforcement, because the tools that I have to really come after someone and accuse them of a crime are very powerful. And before I do that, I need to make sure it's accurate. What's in the file? What's in a search warrant? What did other witnesses say?
A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons. It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
We've seen this exact script play out before with political allies like Flynn and Stone. But to see that same playbook even considered for a convicted child sex trafficker is a horrifying signal that justice itself could be on the table.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. By the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what? What? You never had the privilege of going to Epstein's island? Sadly, I never had the honor of dining with Jeffrey Dahmer. It just...
When pressed on why he and Epstein had a falling out years ago, Trump didn't point to the horrifying criminal behavior Epstein was known for. Instead, he gave a reason that sounds more like a corporate dispute.
Trump also explained why he parted ways with Epstein.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate.
Finally, some moral backbone. He did something inappropriate, and that was?
He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me.
Sorry, Jeff, underage sex trafficking is one thing, but I draw the line at you stealing my omelet man, okay? He's the only one who knows I like ham.
I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information.
At 6:30 a.m. on the morning of July 23rd, 2019, Epstein was found dead in his cell. According to the BBC, the New York Medical Examiner officially ruled the death a suicide by hanging.
He didn't kill himself. This week, to quell the onslaught of demands for more of this information, the FBI released a video of the outside of Epstein's prison cell, but instead of quashing the conspiracy theories, it just created more because the FBI admitted the video has a missing minute.
And it's not hard to see why there's distrust, especially when key evidence like the security footage from outside Epstein's cell has pieces missing.
They were close friends. I knew in the 90s, people in Palm Beach were like, yeah, Trump and Epstein, man, they're always chasing pussy, young girls, this and that. This is not a secret. It was never a secret. What Epstein...
We all know that they were friends at least 10 years, and then apparently it's been reported that there was a falling out, and they were no longer friends. So of course they spent time together. That's what he says. But of course they've spent time together. There are pictures. It's well documented that they had a friendship, that they partied together. So this denial of even almost having this kind of relationship with him, or even being in the files, doesn't make sense.
And this brings up the central question that people are now wrestling with. Why even try to deny a past that everyone already knows is true?
The president now seemingly flipping his position. I do want the American people to recognize that this is nothing more than a game by the con man.
So we're left with conflicting stories from powerful men. It's a familiar pattern of privilege and denial. The real question isn't just about who visited an island, but what secrets are still being protected by this web of influence. The powerful only win when we stop asking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to keep digging, be sure to like and subscribe.